was a Tuesday, which is typically the player's day off. But there was Pat at the facility working out, and we had the television on in the press room.
2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're looking at a live picture from Washington, and there is smoke pouring out of the Pentagon.
Pat was just sitting there watching, getting angrier and angrier and angrier, and you could see that this affected him maybe even more deeply than it affected all of us.
I got a chance to see him the next day, and I know it deeply affected him. I know how pissed off he was about what happened.
The day after September 11th, Pat sat down with one of our video crew for the team and gave an interview, and you saw there the seeds were being planted about what he should be doing as a person.
As athletes, we bitch and moan every now and again about this or that, and if we ever just, you know, times like this, you stop and think about just how, not only how good we have it, but what kind of a system we live under.
Pat just couldn't stand being held on a pedestal above so many other people because he could play football. Pat believed in his country. He believed in the people that paid the ultimate sacrifice for the country.
My great-grandfather was at Pearl Harbor, and a lot of my family has gone and fought in wars, and I really haven't done a damn thing as far as laying myself on the line like that, and so I have a great deal of respect for those that have and what the flag stands for.
I called Pat just to talk and tell him I saw his interview. And when I talked to him, I got the feeling that he wasn't just a person saying this because it's a good interview. He was saying it from his heart.
I feel guilty even having the damn interview because at times like this, when you realize what is important and what isn't important, the game we play isn't important.
Following the 2001 season, the effects of 9/11 had hardened inside Tillman. In manner and speech, he gave hints of a future he would not define.
I was at the owners' meetings down in Florida, and the Cardinals made an offer 3.6 for 3. And I called Pat on the phone and I said, Pat, you got to really consider taking this one. Don't do this to me again that you did to me with the Rams. And he just laughed at me. And then all of a sudden, he said to me, and it kind of shocked me, he said, Frank, I have plans. I'm thinking about doing something, but I can't tell you.
I mentioned something to him that I was going to, purchase season tickets next year because I was sick of, him buying my ticket. And he said something like, I don't know if I'd do that just yet. And kind of got me thinking, like, oh, I wonder what Pat's going to do next.
It was no surprise when Tillman married his high school sweetheart, Marie Ugenti, in May of 2002. But after the honeymoon, a decision that had been forming for months came into focus. Tillman, with his brother Kevin, would join the U.S. Army and seek placement with the Rangers, an elite special forces unit.
I said, Pat, why don't you take the 3-year deal, set up your family, and then go to the Rangers when you're done with football 3 years from now? I can't do that. They won't accept me after 25. I got to do it now. That's how direct he was.
I called Pat, and Pat said, I'm bored with football right now. He said, I need another challenge. Pat did not make any decisions unless they were well thought out. And when I brought it up, he said, Coach, I've been working on this for a year and a half.
I think it surprised people that he joined the Rangers, but in some ways, it didn't surprise people. And most of his friends, if you ask, they kind of said, Pat's leaving the NFL to join the Rangers? Yeah, all right, well, yeah, that sounds about right.
I brought up a lot of different scenarios to him, and one of them was that him making this decision and being as high profile as he was, this was going to be a very big media situation. And I asked him, I said, how do you want to handle this? He said, I'm not, Coach. He said, you are. He said, you're good at this.
When Pat decided to join the military, I know he didn't want it to become a circus, because the second that happens, people try to immediately discredit your decision. Oh, he's doing it for publicity. Oh, he's doing this. Oh, he's doing that. The best way not to give them ammunition was just not to say anything at all.
He just wanted to go in as an Army Ranger. He did not want to go in as Pat Tillman, the NFL football player. You know, he made his decision to walk away from that lifestyle and become a soldier. And he wanted to be treated like all the other soldiers.
The Army is not a place for fanfare and not a place for hype. Everybody comes in here, they're treated equally across the board. He was treated like any other Ranger.
When a Ranger comes in, first he'll come through basic training and then advanced infantry training. And once he completes that, he'll go to airborne school, then he'll go to the Ranger indoctrination program at the 75th Ranger Regiment. If he possesses the mental capacity to be a Ranger, he will graduate from there and move to one of the Ranger battalions.
One thing about Ranger School is it's designed almost entirely to weed people out. They are there to get the cream of the crop for special ops soldiers. You're not getting any sleep, you're not getting any food, you've got drill sergeants yelling at you the whole time, telling you what to do.
He wasn't sure that he could make it. There was at one point where he had told me, after completing it, that he didn't think he was gonna make it. I wasn't really prepared for him to say, Zach, it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
Some people think that Pat might have had a hero complex, which is why he wanted to go over and fight the battle that he fought. I believe that he did to a certain degree. I think that's not a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. But Pat always had that viewpoint that I am going to be the one to step up and take charge in the situation.
He knew exactly what he was getting into. He understood the ramifications of what could happen. He didn't join it at a time of peace. He joined it at a time of war.
I ran into him in the parking lot at the Cardinals facility, and I said, Pat, I just want to tell you as a person that I really respect the decision that you've made and the fact that you're putting your life on the line to defend the country. He said he appreciated that, and the final words that I exchanged with Pat were, I just hope that I come back in one piece.
Phoenix wept. I remember the day that news came out, it poured in town, and I thought it was just a perfect reaction to what the city was feeling, because Pat was sort of infallible.